Ladies and gentlemen, the world is rife with various self-improvement concepts, and sometimes it's very easy to be overwhelmed with the plethora of self-improvement strategies that are available to virtually anybody. What happens is that it's very easy to get into the rut of reading books and watching YouTube videos just like this one, and saying to yourself, okay, looks like I'm doing a good job consuming all that content. But what happens is that instead of trying to self-improve, you're actually not improving, you are stalling oftentimes. However, there are ways to snap yourself out of this self-improvement paradox, as we put it. So, here are my approaches, personally, which I used in order to become an action-oriented, action-taking self-improver. So let's take a look at those approaches that I have been using lately. I found myself in this very situation when I have been reading and watching too much content about how to become better in waking up at 5 a.m., for example. But I was actually not waking up at 5 a.m. for a long time. So I thought, okay, well, that seems like a problem. If I have been trying to do that and I have not done it yet, so I need to rectify that. So what did I do? So my first thing was, okay, if I cannot wormhole into waking up at 5 a.m. on a daily basis easily, using all those multiple self-improvement strategies, I'm going to still use them, but I'm going to go in the incremental fashion. So maybe instead of waking up at 5 a.m., I decided to set some sort of like more attainable goal, considering my crazy days and chaotic schedule at times. So I was like, okay, I'm going to wake up by 8 a.m. pretty much every day except 2 days a week when I can sleep in. So maybe Friday night to Saturday morning, and then Saturday night to Sunday morning, I'll allow myself to sleep in until like whatever, 10 a.m. perhaps. But other days, other mornings, I would wake up by 8 a.m. And it was a much better approach than just getting into the 5 a.m. awakenings cold turkey, so to speak. So I started waking up every day by 8 a.m. and it was a great success. So my next step will be to consistently wake up when I don't have any, let's say, 8 a.m. presentations, but still I will be waking up consistently around perhaps 7:30 a.m. or maybe it's going to be 7 a.m., which is even better. And eventually I'm going to get to the 5 a.m. Awakening on pretty much a daily basis. Perhaps it's going to be honestly like about 2-4 days a week at max, but that's part of the journey, and I will be seeing and documenting how this goes. Okay, so number 2 point. What is number 2? Do not procrastinate. That kind of goes hand in hand with this incremental approach. We tend to make huge to-do lists and then put lots of items on it. But actually, those to-do lists oftentimes look at us and they just sit on our cell phones or laptops. And then we end up procrastinating because those to-do lists are very, let's say, overwhelming and very scary to deal with. So, what should we do? My approach to beat procrastination on various fronts was to take immediate small action. I realized that I can think about something for weeks and days on end without actually doing this like simple thing. But if I go ahead and then say to myself, okay, this is going to take most likely less than 5 minutes or less than an hour. If I have, let's say, an hour on the weekend, for example, and then I have been procrastinating on something to do, I can go ahead and do that because I just push myself to not think about this situation anymore, but rather take action. What is my motivation to take action? That sounds easier said than done. Well, I know that from my experience that if I take action, I will feel more satisfied after having taken that action. Maybe it's going to be, let's say, vacuuming my house, right? So that's not so easy to set up the industrial vacuum which I have and go from floor to floor with the vacuum cleaner and clean the surfaces. That might be a little bit too much work, right? Too much effort. But at the same time, I know by experience that if I go ahead and clean my darn house, I will feel much better because the house will be clean and the guests potentially who visit the house will feel much happier after staying at that house. So the list goes on. Just insert your good points into this type of motivation. Okay, so once again, if I tend to procrastinate on some things, I think about the small things where I can take the immediate action. And then after eliminating several small things, if I don't have anything urgent right now in terms of big goals and targets, I'm just going to go ahead and then use that momentum of doing small things, and I will transfer the momentum to dealing with the bigger, more important, more challenging goals, because I have the momentum of taking action, and this is amazing. Hang on. Another actionable step on what to do if you are in the self-improvement rut, if you feel like you are not self-improvement, if you feel like you are not self-improving but rather self-stalling, what can you do? You can measure your progress. Because, as some wise person said, what gets measured gets improved. So my approach was to make a notes app on my telephone, and what I did was I decided to track the habits which I was trying to work upon. I made a list of habits which I can pretty much exercise every day. And every day I was trying to measure how much of this habit I was exercising. And over time I was able to see my progress. For example, maybe I was drinking, for example, 0 gallons of water a day, right? And then after some time, during a particular week, I was able to increase that amount, right? So maybe I started perhaps with just about 8 ounces on a regular basis, right? But then I decided to track my progress, and I decided to say to myself, okay, I'm gonna get better. I'm gonna get to perhaps 32 ounces of water a day. And guess what? After some sort of gamifying of this drinking of water, I was able to go from 8 ounces a day to about 32 ounces of water on a regular basis in order to stay hydrated and stay, hopefully, healthy. All right, amazing.